The Kaaba, the most revered cubic monument in Islam, has been a central symbol of faith and devotion for millions of Muslims for centuries. However, some suggest that the Kaaba might be much more than just a place of worship. Its geometry, location, and the mysticism surrounding it have led some researchers to theorize that the Kaaba could be connected to deeper cosmic forces. Could it be that the Kaaba serves as a focal point in a planetary energy grid, or even an interdimensional portal linked to cosmic energies? In this exploration, we will delve into the esoteric, astronomical, and even extraterrestrial theories that suggest the Kaaba is part of a complex spiritual energy system. Through historical examples, analysis of sacred geometry, and theories based on astronomical research, we will immerse ourselves in the darkest and most powerful mysteries surrounding this enigmatic monument. The Kaaba and Saturn. One of the most intriguing theories linking the Kaaba to cosmic forces is related to Saturn, a planet historically associated with time, boundaries, and control. The black cube, which is the shape of the Kaaba, has long been a symbol connected to Saturn in various esoteric traditions. In ancient mysticism, Saturn governed not only time, but also matter and structure. This made it the god of boundaries, and the cube, as a perfect geometric form, is its most visible representation. The relationship between Saturn and the Kaaba becomes even more interesting when we analyze sacred geometry. The cube, in esoteric terms, symbolizes cosmic structure and order. Studies on fractal geometry and resonance have shown how certain geometric shapes can amplify and direct energies, and the cube is seen as a three-dimensional representation of these forces. Considering that Saturn has been regarded as the lord of time in several cultures, the cubic shape of the Kaaba could be a physical manifestation of its influence. The architecture of the Kaaba has been designed with remarkable geometric precision, something that can also be observed in other ancient constructions. In Islamic tradition, it is mentioned that the Kaaba has existed since time immemorial and has been rebuilt several times. The idea that this site has perfect geometry might not be merely an aesthetic or architectural choice, but a deliberate decision to resonate with specific cosmic energies. Ancient civilizations, such as the Romans and Sumerians, worshipped Saturn under different names and concepts. This planet was associated with power, control, and the ability to influence human destiny. From a historical perspective, civilizations aligned their temples with astrological cycles and celestial energies. The worship of Saturn was a way to connect with these higher forces, and the Kaaba, as a cubic symbol, could represent this same connection in an Islamic context. The black cube, the planet's energy grid. Beyond its connection to Saturn, some esoteric theories suggest that the Kaaba could be linked to a global energy grid that connects sacred sites around the world. This concept, known as ley lines, suggests that there are invisible energy paths running through the Earth, and that places like the pyramids of Giza, Stonehenge, and the Kaaba are built on these power points. Ley lines, theorized by researchers like Alfred Watkins, propose that the ancients were aware that certain locations on Earth were access points to invisible energy forces. These lines form a sort of energy network that spans the entire planet, and the monuments built on these sites were designed to channel and amplify these energies. The Kaaba, located at the center of the Muslim world, could be one of the most powerful nodes in this network. Interestingly, this is not just an unfounded esoteric idea. Research on geobiology and dowsing has shown that certain places on Earth, including sacred sites, display unusual energy levels. People who visit these places often experience phenomena such as heightened spiritual perception, well-being, or even alterations in the local magnetic field. In the case of the Kaaba, millions of pilgrims gather at this site each year, potentially generating immense emotional and spiritual energy that feeds this energy node. If we analyze other historical examples, we can see how this idea of energy points parallels different cultures. The Maya, for example, built their pyramid temples in specific locations aligned with the stars and astrological cycles, believing these places were portals for communication with the gods. Similarly, in ancient Egypt, the pyramids and temples were carefully aligned with the heavens and the Earth's energy currents. In this context, the Kaaba could have been designed for a similar purpose, as a point of energy convergence. The energy feeder theory, the Kaaba, and the absorption of spiritual energy. One of the most intriguing concepts in modern esoteric theories is that of energy feeders, an idea suggesting that certain sacred places or mass rituals can serve as points of collection and absorption of spiritual and emotional energy generated by crowds. According to this theory, this energy doesn't merely dissipate, but is used or absorbed by invisible entities that feed on these vibrations. Applied to the Kaaba, this concept raises fascinating questions about the true purpose and meaning of this sacred site. Each year, millions of pilgrims perform the Hajj, one of the most important religious events in the world, circling the Kaaba in the ritual known as Tawaf. This activity not only represents an act of devotion, but also generates an immense amount of emotional and spiritual energy. For proponents of the energy feeder theory, this makes the Kaaba an ideal location for the mass collection of energy due to the concentration of emotions like faith, sacrifice, and reverence. According to this theory, places like the Kaaba are not just points of spiritual energy concentration, but act as collection centers for invisible forces or entities. These entities, which could be connected to cosmic forces or even interdimensional beings, feed on human emotions, especially in moments of intense devotion. The energy generated by millions of faithful gathered in one place would then serve as a kind of food for these entities. Theorists who support this idea often base it on energetic principles known in other esoteric traditions, such as the concept of egregores. An egregore is an entity or energy form that comes to life from the mental or emotional focus of a group of people. In the case of the Kaaba, the egregore could be related not only to the ritual itself, but to the sum of the spiritual and emotional energies generated by the millions of worshippers who perform the tawaf and other forms of worship around the monument. An interesting aspect of this theory is that the Kaaba, as a gathering point for so many people, creates a dynamic of collective energy. The idea that human energy can be collectively channeled and used by higher entities, or by the place itself, is not new. The ancient Egyptians, for example, believed that their pyramids were not just tombs, but structures capable of channeling cosmic energy and the energy of the dead toward the heavens. Similarly, the energy feeder theory suggests that the Kaaba could act as an access point for entities seeking to feed on the energy generated by humans during moments of intense devotion. One of the most tangible manifestations of this concept can be found in how power places are perceived in esoteric traditions. It is believed that these places can amplify the emotional energies of those who visit them, and the Kaaba would be no exception. It is possible that the cubic shape of the Kaaba, which is associated with the containment and channeling of energies, is designed to optimize this energy absorption. Sacred geometry holds that specific shapes can direct, store, or disperse energy more efficiently, and the cube is one of the most recognized forms for its ability to contain energy in esotericism. Additionally, in some versions of the energy feeder theory, it is suggested that these entities are not necessarily malevolent. Some esoteric traditions claim that these invisible beings, which absorb spiritual and emotional energy, help maintain the planet's energetic balance. According to this view, the Kaaba would not merely be a place of worship, but a regulator of planetary energies, functioning as a point of exchange between humans and these higher or cosmic entities. The ritual of Hajj and other forms of mass worship at the Kaaba would generate the necessary energy to keep this energetic cycle in motion. On the other hand, a more sinister view of this theory suggests that some entities absorbing the energy from places like the Kaaba may not be benevolent. In various esoteric cultures, from Greek mysticism to apocryphal Christianity, there are stories of beings that feed on suffering, despair, or even devotion. In this sense, some theorists suggest that religious fervor at the Kaaba, far from being solely an act of devotion, could also be a mechanism by which these entities manipulate and extract energy from humans, using worship as a means to nourish themselves. This idea of energy feeders also resonates with apocalyptic theories linking the Kaaba to cosmic forces beyond human understanding. In apocalyptic visions of the end times, it is believed that certain dark forces manipulate events on Earth to generate large amounts of emotional energy, which is used to accelerate their own evolution or gain power over the world. In this context, the Kaaba could be seen as a place where these forces concentrate, drawing the energy of the faithful to trigger cosmic or apocalyptic events in the future. Finally, the concept of energy feeders is deeply connected to the symbolic and geometric nature of the Kaaba. If we consider that the black cube of the Kaaba is related to Saturn, and that Saturn is the planet of control, limitation, and absorption, we can see how these energies manifest on a more esoteric level. In this sense, the cube of the Kaaba would not only contain Saturn's cosmic energies, but also serve as a collection point for the spiritual and emotional energy generated by the faithful, which could then be used by invisible entities for unknown purposes. Extraterrestrial and interdimensional theories. A more speculative yet equally intriguing idea is that the Kaaba could be an interdimensional portal or a structure related to extraterrestrial civilizations. In the ancient astronaut theory, popularized by authors like Erich von Däniken, it is proposed that many of the monumental structures on Earth, including the pyramids, were built with the assistance of beings from other worlds. The cubic shape of the Kaaba, according to this theory, is not merely symbolic, but a representation of advanced technology from beings who understood the energies of the universe in ways we have yet to fully comprehend. Some theorists believe the Kaaba could act as a sort of stargate, a place where energies from other planes of existence are channeled into our world. While this may seem far-fetched, stories of gods and beings descending from the stars are common in ancient civilizations. The Sumerians, for example, believed their gods, the Anunnaki, came down from the heavens to rule the earth. Similarly, in Egyptian culture, the god Osiris was associated with the Orion constellation, and it was believed that pharaohs ascended to that constellation after death. The theory that the Kaaba could be a portal also has parallels in other ancient structures. Stargates are a recurring idea in ancient cultures, where it was believed that certain monuments or temples acted as access points to other dimensions or worlds. The Kaaba, with its location and symbolic power, could have been designed as a point of convergence between the physical world and higher dimensions. Conclusion. After exploring these fascinating theories, it becomes clear that the Kaaba is much more than just a religious monument. Its connection to Saturn, its possible role as a global energy node, or even an interdimensional portal, elevates it to a cosmic and spiritual level far beyond what we can see. Every stone, every ritual, and every pilgrim seems to be part of something much greater, something we may never fully understand. The theories about energy feeders, stargates, and connections to ancient civilizations are not just empty speculations. They invite us to see the world through different eyes, to question whether certain monuments like the Kaaba have a hidden purpose that transcends devotion and touches the deepest fibers of the universe. Could it be possible that the energy of millions of believers is connected to forces that go beyond the human realm? In the end, the Kaaba can be seen as a point of convergence between the physical and the spiritual, an enigma that continues to challenge all those who dare to look beyond the obvious. If this exploration has sparked your curiosity about the deepest and most hidden secrets of our world, I invite you to give it a like and subscribe to keep discovering more about what remains concealed behind the veil of mystery. See you in the next enigma.